Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 700th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that we put onto YouTube. To be honest, I think when we first started our Brotherhood YouTube channel, we probably never ever expected to get to 700 battles. So for our 700th, I wanted to try and find a memorable battle, a battle with a lot of action, you know, a lot of great tactical and strategic moves. You know, and a really exciting battle for you to watch. And I hope with this battle you're going to find that, because as I say, 700th battle, I mean, I just can't believe it really. And as I say, I hope this is a memorable and worthy battle for our 700th there. You'll see that we're playing on the Nordic Woodland map. We're going to talk about this map a bit later on, which I hope you'll find quite interesting. But as I say, our 700th, I can't hardly believe it. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Uther. Now, Uther's got 13 infantry, 1 peasant unit, and 6 cavalry. Okay, 13 infantry, 1 peasant, and 6 cavalry. Tried and tested Uther army. There's his peasant unit. We've seen that used so many times, where he puts it out just in front of his pillar shield units there, so that hopefully the enemy will throw their expensive pilers into the cheapest unit in the game. So make no mistake, that'd be a tried and tested Uther army. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Earth. Now, Earth has got 12 pikes, 6 archers, and 2 cavalry. Okay, 12 pikes, 6 archers, and 2 cavalry. Okay, now I just want to show you the upgrades on his pikes. If you count there, you'll see that he's got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now, many years ago, I was talking to a Greek clansman, and remember, the Greeks were the best on Rome Total War with the pike and spear faction, and this Greek clansman told me that 8 upgrades on the Macedonian pikes are the optimum kind of upgrades that you need. If you go further than that, if you try and maximum upgrade them, they're too expensive for what you get. But he did say to me that 8 upgrades is what you need. That's the optimum upgrades on pikes, and that's what Earth has got. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. My guess is he's probably only going to have gold shield, gold attack on his companion cavalry, yet, because he spent most of his money on his pikemen there. Okay, so that's an interesting army there. We know Earth's very good with the pike factions. Our next teammate is someone who's called himself OTD Chinrizig, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. Now, Scorpion King has got 8 infantry, 5 archers, 2 auxiliary, and I think he's got 6 cavalry. Okay, so he's got quite a combination of armies there, quite a few units, different units in his army there. But as I say, it is Scorpion King SR, and say he's been playing Rome Total War since it first came out, the same as myself. If you look at his infantry there, you'll see his general has got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Most of his other units have got 7 upgrades on, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack, plus he's got an eagle unit. So he's got his infantry general and an eagle unit there for extra morale. Here's a unit you don't very often see on a 31k battlefield, the auxiliary missile unit there. You don't see there, a light auxiliary there. You don't see that unit much on a 31k battlefield. So as I say, don't forget Scorpion King hasn't got any saved armies. He builds custom armies for every single battle. So it'll be interesting to see. He usually brings serious cavalry. Oh, there you go, 7 upgrades and experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. That's still pretty good cavalry there. So that'll be interesting to see how well Scorpion King SR does with his army there. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's bought a very old Carthage army. And I've got 15 Sacred Band Spearmen, 3 cavalry, and 2 slingers. Okay, now just to show you the upgrades on my cavalry, can you see they've only got 3 upgrades, just gold attack. Now these guys are not geared up for heavy duty action, as you can see, with just 3 upgrades, but I call these my sniper units. And what I mean by that is I like to get behind the enemy team and snipe at their archer units with these units, or even smash into the back of tired, engaged enemy troops with these 3 cavalry units. So even though they've only got gold attack on, they can be very useful during the course of the battle. Okay, so it'd be interesting to see how well they do during the course of this battle. So there's our team there, quite a diverse team, and I hope you enjoy our 700th battle. And here is the other team. We have GOTW Biggest. Now Biggest has got 10 infantry, 6 cavalry and 4 archers. And make no mistake, the players in this other team are elite RTW players. Let's have a look at the upgrades on Biggest's cavalry, and you'll see he's got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. So as you can see, he's got serious cavalry there. So that's Biggest's army. Their next teammate is RTW player Luke. Now Luke has got 12 Spartans and 8 archers. Okay, 12 Spartans and 8 archers. That's kind of like a standard Greek city army there. A lot of firepower with 8 Cretan archers. Their next teammate is RV Monarch. Now RV Monarch has got 12 Spartans, a cavalry general and 6 archers. Okay, so as I say, we're up against 2 Greek cities armies here, which can be very, very difficult to fight. And as you can see, he split his army into 2, got his main force and a smaller kind of micro army there as well. And their last teammate is a player who's called himself God. Now this is an old RTW player, very, very good player. He was in a clan as well with a completely different name, but unfortunately my memory is not very good, and I can't remember the clan that he was in, and I can't remember his original name when he was in that clan. But make no mistake, he's a very good player. He's been playing RTW for many years, and as I say, one of the elite players in the other team there. Now he's got 10 infantry, 6 cavalry and 4 archers. Quick look at the upgrades at his cavalry, and he's got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So he's also got very serious cavalry there. So as I say, that's God's army there. And as I say, it's unusual to face 2 Greek cities armies. We know how powerful the Spartans are with their 2 hit points and their excellent specifications. So to be up against 2 Greek cities armies, plus the team we're fighting are full of elite RTW players. Make no mistake here, this is going to be a real tough battle here. You've got Biggest, as I say, Luke. So we know both of those 2 players are elite 31k players. You also got RV Monarch, another elite 31k player, and God, as I say, we know him as a different name, but I can't remember what it is. So as I say, we're up against a really elite team that play together a lot, really good team, and this should be a great battle for you to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I wanted to talk about this particular map, which is a Nordic Woodland map. Now, if you look on the face of it, it looks quite a flat map. Okay, so I just wanted to, as I say, talk about this map for a little bit, but it's not completely flat. If you notice here, there's a slight slope. Can you see there's a slope there? Okay, there you can see that slope. So it's not completely flat. So when you play on this map, you've got to study the topography of this map, like the ground, to see before your team moves, to decide what you're going to kind of do, like, you know. If you try and use flat map tactics on this map, you will probably lose. Now, I've been in Team 2, where the enemy team is, on numerous occasions on this map. We used to play on this map loads in the past, and Team 2 have had some really good victories in this game. Now, what we found is there's 2 ways really to attack if you want to be the attacking team. One is you can attack up this slope, and that involves holding and pinning the army here on the left flank, where you get an army round the left flank there. Do you see what I mean? That's how you can attack up the slope. But attacking up the slope obviously does have risk, because you're attacking up the slope. But the easiest way to, if you want to be the attacking army in Team 2, is to take the entire team over to here. Okay, and this is a flat part of the map, and now you can attack Team 1 on flat ground. Okay, so that's what you can do. You bring Team 2 over here, and you can then attack on flat ground. Okay, you can see that now. You have to attack through the woods if you want to attack, but you can attack on flat ground. But as I say, you have to study the topography of these different maps that we fight on before your team decides to make a move, because if you try and use just featureless flat map tactics, you will probably lose. Okay, and I think that when we play on this map, a lot of the teams we play might not have played on anything else but flat, featureless maps. So when you play on a different map, as I say, you need to look at the ground, you need to look at the topography, and you have to kind of change your tactics, adapt your strategy to the map. Okay, so as I say, this is a Nordic Woodland map. It's not a flat, featureless map. It's got a slight sloping, but teams have got to adapt their tactics to the maps. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, you'll see that Scorpion King SR is moving his army into this wooded area there. Okay, as we know, Scorpion King, very aggressive, very attacking player there. And as you can see, he's taking his army forward. Okay, at the rear there, you'll see I'm running as fast as I can over to get to my teammates with my Carthaginian army. Okay, you can see they're running over there, try and settle in that area as fast as I can. Hopefully get over there before I'm intercepted. Over here, you'll see that Uther is moving his army over from the right flank into the centre a little bit more. Okay, so as I say, this is a Nordic Woodland map, and you know, both teams really need to adapt their tactics to the ground on this map. So as I say, you can see Scorpion King there moving into that wooded area. He knows that the wooded area will hide his troops there, but obviously all the enemy troops would have seen him move into that wooded area. As you can see, very aggressive, very attacking, but he needs to watch his flank there, because you've got both Biggest and Luke on his flank, and they could well try to roll him up there from left to right if he's not careful. But I'm sure he's got an eye on that. And you can see here the enemy team there, you can see moving maybe towards Scorpion King in the woods there. You can see some arrows hitting him there, but I'm pretty sure that with his Roman army facing those archers, he's not going to suffer so many casualties. Now, one of the main things that some enemy teams do is they try and start an archer battle here. Well, as you can see, because we're on the higher part of the slope, our arrows go further and they do more damage. So if you get into an archer battle here, let's pause the game for a second. If you get into an archer battle here, as you can see, the slope there, then our archers, our missile troops, arrows will go further and do more damage from that slope. So as I say, if you start an archer battle there, straight away you are at a disadvantage. Do you see what I mean about talking about adopting different tactics for different maps, studying the topography of the map before you actually get into battle? You've got Earth's archers there ready to be brought into the fray whenever he wants to do it. But as I say, if you start an archer battle and you're on the lower ground, then you are, you know, obviously going to suffer a lot of casualties there. Now, this is a nice move by the Greek city's general, Monarch there, moving that, as I say, moving that fast-moving cavalry unit around there to try and disrupt our archers, trying to kill some of our archers as well. So that's a nice little move there by Monarch. Now here you can see this light auxiliary missile unit you don't see very often on the 31k battlefield, being used by Scorpion King SR. Now you can see they're throwing those little spears into the enemy archers. As I say, you don't see that unit very much on the 31k battlefield. There you can see that fast-moving armoured cavalry general there of a Monarch trying to chase down our archers, trying to cause disruption within our archers there. So that's a nice tactical move there. And as I say, if he can actually hit some of our archers, cause some casualties as well. Okay, so there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment from our point of view there. As you can see, my Carthaginians have managed to get to my allies here. But whenever you get over there, your troops are always tired and you need a bit of a break there. So you can see that my army and Earth's army here, his Macedonia, has been brought to combat and try and neutralise the enemy Greek city's army. Now remember, the enemy team have got 2 Greek cities army. Very unusual to see 2 Greek cities army in a team these days. So that's why I brought my Carthaginians to try and neutralise one of their armies, and Earth has brought his Macedonian army to maybe try and neutralise the other one of the Greek cities armies there. So as I say, when you're facing 2 Greek cities, that can be a real challenge. As a lot of us know, the Spartans with their 2 hit points and excellent specifications, always a challenge there. But as I say, here we're in an archer battle here with the enemy archers. And as I say, when you're on like the higher part of the slope there, our arrows go further, do more damage. Here's this auxiliary unit once again of Scorpion Kings. Look, moving forward, they've got very short range. Those guys have to throw their little spears, and that's why he's taking them so far forward. Here you can see Scorpion King now taking his troops out of the woods there, because he's probably seen what's coming on his left flank. There you can see both Bigus with his Scipioid army and Luke with his Greek cities army moving in on Scorpion King's left flank. You'll see Luke has spread his Spartans out. This is the modern way of using Spartan units. It's kind of spread the units out wide, make little mini armies of them and things like that. That's the modern way of doing them, of using those factions. Unfortunately, I still use the old-fashioned formations that are probably a bit out of date these days. Now over here you'll see that we've got, let's just pause again for a second here. We can see that God here is moving his SBQR army forward. Now if you notice, can you see, does he look a little bit isolated from his ally to you? Does he look like isolated, a little bit exposed there, do you think? Especially as he's coming up that slope. Now as I say here, you can see Uther. I know the team were watching this very closely, and if he gets a little bit more close, then there's a chance that he may well get hit by us there if he moves too far forward. Okay, so as I say, this is always talking about adapting your tactics on different maps. As I say, if you try using flat, featureless map tactics on a map like this, the chances are you're not probably going to do very good. Okay, now as I say, Bigus and Luke here are coming from the safe direction, where team 2 is a safe option to attack, because this is flat here. Look, this is pretty flat as they come through this area here compared to coming up the slope. So this is if I was team 2, this is the safe direction that I would attack rather than come up that slope. You can see we've got the Macedonian army of Earth and my Carthaginian army there facing Luke's army there and Bigus's army here. But as I say, you can see God, if he looks like he's so isolated on his own, it's like he's going to try and attack us up this slope on his own. Now, is that overconfidence? There you can see I've got my slingers shooting down on him as well, and with that height advantage there, we could be doing quite a bit of damage there to any missile troops that are shooting up the slope at us there. Okay, as we move across the battlefield here, you'll see that Earth is taking some of his Macedonians here round here on the left flank. Okay, you can see that Earth has actually split his Macedonian army up into 2 as well. As I say, this is the new modern way of using pikes and spears, is kind of breaking the formation up, making mini armies there. As I say, I still use the old-fashioned, out-of-date battle formations of tight, close formations, but as I say, the new modern way is to make mini armies and to kind of split your formation up with pikes and spears. Right, you'll notice now we're all moving over to the left flank. Can you see all our teams moving over to the left flank towards Bigus and Luke? Okay, if you notice that, all moving left here, because I think originally we were looking to hit Luke and Bigus there. Okay, now as we move over to the left here, you can see Uther moving over to the left as well, all heading towards Luke and Bigus there. God here, he can see possibly there's a chance of him getting up at the top of the slope here and getting onto even ground with us. Okay, and also Monarch might well try the same. So you may well see those 2 enemy armies run up that slope to try and get up onto if you like, onto the higher ground and get above the bottom part of that slope there. Straight away you'll see God, there you are, let's see him running his troops forward there, looking to get up onto the higher ground is what he's trying to do there, which is a good tactical move, but he is still a bit isolated. Look at his ally Monarch is kind of moving away from him. So God here, to me, they're not fighting as a team at this stage of the battle. Do you see what I mean? They seem to be a bit isolated there. So as I say, Uther's moving over there, but he may well see God coming up on his right flank and decide to turn to face him, which is exactly what I would do if I was Uther, seeing the enemy infantry coming up this slope. That's something that I would do there. As I say, I've got my slingers at the top of that slope there with a down slope advantage there, so my slingshots will go further, hopefully do more damage. Okay, now as I say, Uther here, now we're not moving over to the left anymore. Can you see that Uther can see the enemy SBQR army moving towards him there, coming up the slope? Okay, but as I say, this is when you attack up the slope. As I say, I've been in Team 2 loads of times and got some great victories on this map, but coming up the slope, attacking up the slope has got a fair amount of risk. We have won a lot of battles attacking up this slope in the past, but it does have its own risks if you do come up the slope. Now here you can see that Monarch here is bringing his Greek city's army over. It's maybe to combine with God's army there in attacking on this particular flank coming up the slope. Okay, but here you've got Bigus, you've got Luke, and you can see here that Scorpion King is probably going to face Bigus there. And here you can see Earth has got his Macedonians there with the long pikes. Now my guess is that Luke probably won't be too keen on taking on the Macedonians because of the long pikes. You've got Scorpion King as cavalry there as well that could go around this flank. And you've got Uther's cavalry as well at this time. Plus you've got Earth's cavalry there as well. So on this left flank, look, you can see that we're moving around quite a lot, kind of stretching the enemy team a little bit there. Okay, but as I say, you can see God here bringing his SBQR army up the slope, and you can see Monarch bringing his Greek cities army up this slope as well. Okay, so as I say, the enemy team look like they're deciding to attack on our right flank here. Now Uther here, if you notice, Uther's moved over a little bit with his Julii army to face God there with his SBQR army, but you'll notice that God is still hasn't got up on top of the slope yet. Can you see? It's not a big slope, but he's just got to the kind of just to the edge of the slope there. Can you see? Just to the crest of the slope, and you can see Uther moving forward. Now it wouldn't surprise me, there you are, if the SBQR general started to move back now, because he knows Uther's on slightly higher ground. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. Now of course I've brought my Carthaginian army here solely to take on and try and neutralise a Spartan army. I don't want to fight a Roman army, and Uther here is going to try and take on God's SBQR army. So that's what we want to do. Uther takes on the Rome, I take on the Spartans. Okay, that's what we want to do, but my guess is that the enemy team won't want to do that. My guess is that the Spartans will want to take on our Rome ally, and the SBQR general here will want to take on Carthage. And of course the reason that the enemy Roman general would like to take on Carthage is because he's going to throw in loads of pilers, weaken my units, and then attack my weakened army. So as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if the enemy team swapped positions here over on the right flank. Watch out for that, because that could well happen. Because as I say, they want to put their Greek city army there of monarchs up against our Julii ally, and our SBQR and their SBQR army up against my Carthage army. So you can see, watch out for the swap there, as you can see. And there you go, there you are, you can see them swapping now, Greek cities moving over to the left, look, to take on Uther's army, and you can see that God's SBQR army is trying to face my Carthaginians. Okay, so you can see the swap, that's what they want to do. The Roman general wants to throw loads of pilers into my Carthage units there, weaken them, then attack. And of course their Greek cities there wants to attack our Julii ally, because Greek cities attacking Rome head on will cause a lot of casualties there. Okay, so that's what they want to do, but we're not going to play their game. As you can see there, we're not going to let them dictate the tactics of this battle. And you can see that I'm now going to move my Carthaginians over, and I'm going to shadow that Greek city's army of monarch. Okay, and Uther, make no mistake, will be shadowing the enemy SBQR Roman army as well. Okay, so as I say there, we're not going to play the game that they want to play. And as I say, attacking up the slope here, as I say, has got risk. Now, as I say, I've played in Team 2, where the enemy team is, on loads and loads of different occasions, and won loads of battles on this map, including attacking up the slope. But it does carry its own risk. And as I say, as a team, you have to adopt different tactics on different maps here. Remember, this isn't a flat, featureless map that I think most teams are used to playing on, right? Okay, so here you can see Uther as cavalry is here. Okay, and now this is quite an important point here that I want to show you. And you can see that there's no enemy cavalry around the enemy troops there. And God has got his SBQR cavalry over on the flank here. Okay, a long way away from his infantry. Notice that? Just like you make a note of that. He's got his cavalry a long way away from his infantry. And you'll see why this is important in a minute. Okay, so you can see here I'm moving my Carthaginians there towards that Greek city's army of monarchs. Okay, they're not swapping or switching around anymore. They've obviously accepted that this is the way the battle over on this flank is going to go. Alright, now as I say, you can see here that Uther's infantry here could well attack the SBQR infantry. If you notice here, Uther's thrown that peasant unit out the front there, hoping to attract expensive enemy pilers from the enemy team there. Okay, so that's why he's got that unit right out the front there, and asking for them to throw their pilers into that cheap unit. But as I say, there you can see his infantry is a long way from his cavalry. And as I say, I've got my Carthaginians there ready to face Greek cities. Now, here you'll see that Uther does a really good battlefield awareness attack. Now Uther, make no mistake, knows that the SBQR cavalry are a long way from their infantry, and what he's going to do probably is a combined infantry and cavalry attack down this slope. Right, can you see there? His cavalry are locked and loaded, is moving his infantry forward into that SBQR infantry, and here comes his cavalry. And that was a great combination attack, very battlefield aware, knowing that the enemy SBQR cavalry is a long way from infantry support. But in all fairness to God, he's doing the right thing there and pulling his infantry back. So it's not going to take the full brunt there of the infantry and cavalry hit. But that was still a nice move there by Uther. Let's pause the game for a second. So as I say, you can see Uther's cavalry smashing into the SBQR cavalry. No infantry there, knowing that the SBQR cavalry are away from their infantry. You'll notice that he's also doing a surge attack with his infantry onto that SBQR infantry as well. So nice move there. Now over here on our left flank, okay, you can see here that we've got Scorpion King's cavalry, we've got Earth's cavalry over on this side harassing and haranguing the enemy team. Plus, as I say, you've got Earth's Macedonian pike units here. Now Earth is very, very good general with Macedon, and you can see that the Greek city's General Luke is now retreating from those Macedonian pikemen. Okay, as I say, we know Earth very, very good with Macedon there, and you can see, as I say, Luke is retreating there. So as I say, there's not a lot of actual fighting going on this left flank at this time. Okay, you can see that. You can see Scorpion King there facing Bigus's army there. And as I say, you've got Earth moving his Macedonians forward towards the Greek cities, but not a lot going on the left flank. The main battle's over here on the right flank. Okay, now, see that Greek cities battle formation there? Okay, you can see he's got his spears down here. Now, what I think he's going to do, I think that he thinks that his 5 units are going to hold and pin my Carthaginian army when I attack. Okay, so he thinks those 5 units are going to hold and pin me, and he's going to take units round the flank of my engaged units. Okay, so I think he's going to take these units round the flank, as those 5 units at the front of his battle formation pin and hold my Carthaginians. He may well even take a couple of units round the other flank as well there to try and come in from the flank of, as I say, my fighting Carthaginians there. So I have to watch out for that and make sure that I've got units to be able to neutralise that attack when it comes in. Right, here you can see I'm charging forward there. Smash into those Spartans. Bang, put my spears down and then engage those Spartans there on this flank. You can see really pushing in there with my Carthaginians. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. So over here, Uther's attack with his cavalry and infantry have routed a lot of God's infantry. Can you see a lot of those SBQR units of God have been routed now? So that was a really nice cavalry combo infantry attack there onto God's infantry. So well done to Uther. A nice battlefield awareness attack there, as I say, knowing that the SBQR cavalry is a long way away from their infantry there. So that was a nice move there. And you can see that the SBQR generals are bringing his more cavalry over to this flank here, but as I say, Uther's done a lot of damage. Right, okay, so back here to my Carthaginians against the Greek cities. As you can see there, and really pushing in, and as I say, I'm expecting those Spartan units at the rear of the battle formation to come round the flank of my Carthaginians there, so I need to be ready for that and have units ready to neutralize that particular situation. Okay, so there you go. You can see straight away there moving units around the flank. Now this is a good move, trying to pin and hold my Carthaginians with those 5 units there while he gets units around the flank. That's a really good tactical move there. Newer players to Rome Total War, that's a good move. The only trouble is though that maybe my Carthaginians may well punch a hole through those units that he sent to hold and pin my units there. That's the only maybe drawback to this tactic, but yeah, it's a good tactic there, trying to get around the flanks my Carthaginians. So nice move there by Monarch. Now over here you'll see that Uther is moving his army kind of away from the enemy troops. There's Monarch's got one of his mini armies there as well, and you can see the enemy cavalry, the SPQR cavalry, and some infantry units there as well, as Uther seems to be moving away from this right flank. There's a couple of units that Luke has got there, a couple of his Spartan units he's going to bring over here, obviously to help his allies on this right flank. Okay, but meanwhile, I say over on the left flank there doesn't seem to be a lot going on at the moment. Both armies on the flank there, both enemy and allied, kind of looking at each other at the moment. Not a lot going on, although I think that probably the cavalry of our guys there have been causing a lot of mischief. I can see some dead enemy troops around there where they've probably been just going in there and hitting them. But as I say, no major fighting at all on our left flank or left centre. But on our right flank and right centre there is a lot going on. And as I say, you can see there my Carthaginians there fighting those Spartan units. Now remember, those Spartans have got 2 hit points and excellent specifications. So as I say, my Carthaginians there are doing the best they can against them. As I say, the only flaw with the tactic that Monarch was using there is that those units that he put to hold my army there, the 3 of the units have been routed already, so I just need to turn units to face that right. Now this is a great move by SBQR God here. He's seen that Uther's infantry are moving, okay, and he's going to smash his cavalry into moving infantry. Now all of us know that moving infantry that get hit by cavalry suffers big casualties, so this was a really good hit by SBQR God there, and bang, as he smashes in there. That was a really nice hit there by him. Really well done there, and now he just pulled his cavalry back there. He got the full charge bonus, good cavalry charge bonus there, did the damage and pulls back. Meanwhile my Carthaginians here have broken a lot of the Spartan units that they were up against. You'll see here that God is now bringing some infantry over. My guess is he's still got some pilers left, which he'll be gladly throwing into the flank and rear of my engaged Carthaginians there. I can see some pilers already going in there. So let's say you can see the pilers going into my Carthaginians there. That's something I wanted to try and avoid. I didn't want to get bogged down fighting Roman infantry because of the pilot hits. Now I just like to show you a great move here by Uther. Do you remember those 2 Spartan units on my flank were attacking those Carthaginian units? Well, Uther just brought some cavalry over and smashed into the back of those 2 Greek city units. A hammer and anvil attack. His cavalry being the hammer, my infantry being the anvil there, took him out. And as I say here, you can see there you've got Monarch's mini army of Spartans there just behind his SPQR ally, but you can see that God has still got a lot of units left there. Here you can see, which I thought was quite funny, Uther's put a peasant unit up against 2 Spartan units. I just thought that was quite cheeky of Uther, really, doing that, but there you go. Now you notice here that Scorpion King SR and Earth are now moving their armies from the left flank and left centre over to the right here. Can you see that they're moving them over now towards us? Maybe they can see that this right flank might prove possibly pivotal to the outcome of the battle there. But as I say, you can see that SPQR army lining up that infantry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reform my Carthage battle formation there. I've up spears, going to pull back, reform the battle formation there. Sometimes in battle you need to do this. You need to completely reform, sort your battle formation out, and then you can then attack then with a good solid battle formation there. Now you can see here Uther being very, very aggressive with his Julia army coming down into the flank of the SBQR general. Now you can see the SBQR general moving his infantry over towards them, and here comes that SBQR cavalry. Get ready for this, and bang! As he smashes in there, and bang! bang, as that next cavalry unit charges in. But you can see I've moved my Carthaginians forward there, and now I'm going to put my spears down. There, I'm running over at the moment, but I'm going to put my spears down as soon as I came engaged with those SBQR troops and start pushing in on them. So both Uther and myself with my Carthaginian troops now are pushing in on God's SBQR troops there. From what I can see here, I think he seems to have been just maybe a little bit overconfident. I don't know what you guys think. Attacking us like that just seems to me to be full of confidence there, maybe a bit overconfident. Coming up the slope as well. I mean, he's done well, but he could well lose his entire army if he's not careful. Let's pause the game for a second here. So you've got God's cavalry locked and loaded. You've got some infantry units moving back here as well. Plus you've got some Spartan units there, maybe that might help him there as both Uther and myself move down towards him. Okay, his best bet might be to move back out the way. I've noticed that Monarch's Spartan army here, he is now moving away from that part of the battlefield there. He's getting away. Maybe he can see that things are not looking that good, and he decided he's going to save those Spartan units, which would be a good tactical move. But because I've got a feeling here, unless God moves out the way, he's going to get hit hard and maybe finished off. Here you can see Scorpion King SR has moved his army across here over to the right flank, and you'll see that Earth is moving and has moved several of his units over to this flank as well. Okay, you can see him moving over there. The other part of the enemy team don't seem to be doing much at the moment, but here, as I say, God's SBQR army here looks to me like it could well be finished off here on this right flank. He could move his cavalry and infantry maybe out the way just to save some units there, but no, he's decided he's going to charge in. He's going to charge his cavalry in, and bang, as he charges in there. And there you can see my Carthaginian spearmen moving down there as well, and bang, as my spearmen hit him. And basically that is all of SBQR God's army has now been routed. Even his general unit's been routed as well. So I think, as I say, right from the beginning of the battle, he looked isolated to me. I don't know what you guys think. Did you? And then he kind of teamed up with his Greek cities ally there, but it just didn't seem to gel as a kind of a team there. No disrespect or anything. It's just just didn't seem to me. Now over here, Scorpion King, as we know, is very aggressive. And I think at this stage of the battle, he got a little bit overexcited here. Now he's chasing these Spartan units away of Monarch. Remember Monarch's mini army of 3 Spartans? So he's chasing them away. But he must be aware, as he goes down that slope, chasing those units, that there's a lot of enemy troops over here that could run across here, okay, and charge into his flank or cut him off from his allies. Do you see what I mean there? You can see, and I bet Luke and Bigus have spotted this. Scorpion King just wants to chase down, by the looks of it, Monarch's mini army there. He's still moving down the slope now, look, towards them. And I can see that the 2 big enemy armies there of Luke's and Bigus are moving over towards him there. Let's just pause the game. That wouldn't surprise me if Luke moved those 2 Spartan units there to stop Scorpion King moving directly up the slope towards us. You see, if those 2 Spartan units are there, they won't be... SR's army won't be able to move it there because they'll be blocked by those 2 Spartan units. And as I say, you can see Luke's army and the enemy Scipii troops moving over as well. And it wouldn't surprise me then if Monarch here turned and faced Scorpion King's army there as well. So Scorpion King here could be in a real dangerous situation if he's not careful. Or you can see Luke's Greek cities there getting behind him, stopping him from coming directly up the hill to his allies. Okay, you can see that. So that's a nice move there by Luke to stop our ally coming directly up the hill to his allies. And also, if you notice there, you'll see Luke's attacking his general too. Nice move there by Luke, trying to take out the morale-giving general of Scorpion King. Right, here comes Scorpion King's cavalry, but Luke spotted that. Probably going to get his spears down before the cavalry hits. Good job, Scorpion King pulled that cavalry out. But these cavalry units are going to crash into those spears. Bang! As he charges in there. Okay, he's got the down slope charge bonus there, but he could lose a lot of his cavalry on those Spartan units there. Let's pause the game for a second here. So you can see here loads of enemy troops pulling in there. You can see, as we thought, Monarch has now turned to fight Scorpion King's army there when he was chasing him. And as I say, the only way out for Scorpion King now is the right. He needs to run his infantry right there to get away. That's what he needs to do, to get away from this massive load of enemy troops coming in on him there. And unfortunately, his general looks like he's been hit there as well. So I don't know whether Scorpion King's, how much of his infantry is going to get out, but he needs to save as many as he can. I think I remember Earth saying to him, save as many of your troops as you can. I remember, I think Earth did say that to him as he's pulling away there. But as I say, you can see his poor general, that he's got one chance. Can he just get away between the gap of those Spartans? And Luke's just closed him off there. Did you see? So now, basically, Scorpion King's general, I think, looking at this situation here, is going to get taken out. And Scorpion King's lost a lot of his infantry as well there. So things not looking that good. Now you can see all the way over here, you've got Earth's half of Earth's Macedonian army. He's kept them at the back there. Must be a tactical reason for that. And he's got the other half of his army right there. Okay. Now, of course, our instinct there was to run down to help Scorpion King. But if you notice, he got a lot of his infantry out of that situation. And as we move down, you'll see the enemy troops moving back there. Now, Scorpion King's saved 5 of his infantry, including his Eagle unit. So he's going to have a command unit bonus there for his infantry. So that was a good move of him there. But he has lost quite a bit of his infantry there from that nice hit of Luke's and Biggest there. Okay, so we need to pull back. I think now we're going to kind of go into stage 2 of this battle, phase 2 of this battle. You'll see that we're going to pull back, we're going to reorganize. I'm going to do some micromanagement on my Carthage battle formation, and I want to draw your attention to my cavalry here. Okay, remember we looked at my cavalry earlier. It's not geared up for heavy duty action, but it can be very useful. Now what I want to do is go through the woods here, stopping several times to hide my cavalry. Now if I can get here and hide my cavalry there, what I'd really like to do is to kind of bring my cavalry round here and get in behind the enemy troops. Hide my cavalry in the trees behind the enemy troops. That's one thing about these wooded maps. You can plan ambushes and you can hide troops and spring them out on the enemy. And that's what I'd like to do, is get my cavalry, as I say, in behind the enemy troops and charge when necessary there into the rear of engaged enemy troops. So that's what I'd like to do with my cavalry. But as I say, it looks like Scorpion King's just got 5 infantry units left now. And you can see Monarch still got his mini Greek cities army there. And of course Luke's Greek cities army is basically intact. Okay, and of course we know Greek cities very difficult to kill there. And as I say, you can see Earth now bringing over the other half of his Macedonian army towards the enemy troops. Okay, so as I say, I'm going to do some micromanagement on my battle formation there. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But there's a general disposition of our armies and the enemy's armies there. Okay, so if you notice here, I've got 2 very weakened Sacred Band units on the left flank. Now if you leave them as they are and you go into battle, the moment those units start to lose troops, they're probably going to rout. So what I want to do with those units is integrate them in with my higher numbered units there. Okay, you'll see what I mean in a minute there. I need to, as I say, I'm just doing some micromanagement repairing of my my Carthage formation there. Can you see how I'm taking those 2 weakened units and putting them in between my larger units there that have been a lot less damaged there? And I'm going to move this unit over. So I've shortened, if you like, my battle formation. I've closed the width in a little bit there, but those 2 weaker units now are now integrated with better numbered units there. So that'll help with the battle formation when we actually go into action there. Just want to show you a little bit of micromanagement repairing there that I often do with my pike and spear units. As I say, we're going to move into phase 2 of the battle here in a minute. Okay, we're just reorganizing, regrouping, sorting our battle formations out here. And as I say, can you notice there that there's some higher ground? it might be difficult for you to see, but there is a bump of higher ground there, and the enemy may well see that and decide to make for that higher ground. You'll have to just we just have to watch as the battle continues there, but you can see definitely higher ground there that we've moved away from. So as I say, the enemy may well make for that, and that would then give them an advantage over us. Should be a great one to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle, as we were looking at that higher ground a little bit earlier, can you see now that Luke and Biggis have both spotted the higher part of the map there and are now moving up onto that part of the map? So that was a nice bit of spotting by them. As I say, when it comes to these type of maps, you've got to look at the topography, you've got to look at the ground, and then use your tactics from there. And this is a good move there, moving up onto the higher ground for them. I say, I think we're a bit slow here. We should have realised what they were doing and moved a bit quicker to try and block them. But as I say, looking there, I think we were a little bit slow at seeing that. But as I say, now they've reached that higher ground now. So, as I say, it was a nice move for them. And we're now going to have to respond to them being up on that slightly higher part of the ground. It is only slightly higher, but still could give them a little bit of an advantage there as we move forward. Now remember that both Earth's army and my army, we've bought specifically to take on the Greek cities. We don't really want to get bogged down fighting Rome if we can. And there's Uther's peasant unit still alive, look. He's still putting it out there as well for the pilots to hopefully to be thrown at it by the enemy troops. So that was always a nice move there, I think. And there's Scorpion King's 5 infantry units that he's still got left. So and they look pretty sizable, so they're pretty well, they are a little bit damaged but not terribly damaged there, so they still have a good influence on the battle. Okay, you can see the enemy team now moving their armies around a little bit. Remember that they've lost God's SBQR army. That army was completely routed and sent off the battlefield there earlier. So they've lost that, but now they're setting up, you can see, a defensive position. And as I say, when you fight Spartans in a defensive position, that can be quite difficult. Right, here you can see that Monarch's archers there, his Cretan archers, if you notice, are carrying their swords, so that means they've run out of arrows. Now I know that Scorpion King's got a couple of cavalry units hiding in the woods there, okay, which he's probably going to bring out to try and take them out. It wouldn't surprise me if he did that. Okay, I'd just like to show you where my cavalry is at the moment. Remember my my sniping cavalry, as I call it. Okay, and it's there at the moment. Can you see, if you look at the right, in hiding? So they can't see my cavalry at the moment. Now what I'd like to do with my cavalry at this stage is to take them on a wide angle over here. Okay, so bring them all the way over there. Okay, you can see my my cavalry just in the woods there. Bring them round here in a wide angle, and then get up into the woods over here just behind the enemy troops and hide them in the woods there. Okay, put them into wedge formation for more impact, more penetration and more damage, and then when the time's right, smash into the back of those engaged enemy troops. So that's the plan with my cavalry. Okay, just to give you a heads up on that. So as I say, here you can see us moving around, trying to adapt, if you like, our tactics here to the defence that the enemy team have set up. You can see that Monarch still got 5 Spartan units there. We know how powerful they are. And remember that Luke's Greek city's army is pretty well intact. Plus Biggis' army is pretty well intact as well. So we are going up against good troops here in a slightly higher position as well on the map. So as I say, it could be interesting to see what happens here. They say you got Earth's Macedonians there. He may well want to engage Luke's Greek cities there, but whether Luke will want to do that or not, it wouldn't surprise me if Earth started to approach Luke's Greek cities if Luke and Biggis swapped, because I'm pretty sure that Biggis has still got some pilots left there that he'd be able to throw into our Macedonian ally. Okay, we'll just have to see as the battle unfolds what they're going to do. As I say, I liked Uther's peasant unit still alive. You know, even at this stage of the battle, he's still alive there. But this is a nice move. Newer players to Rome Total War. Why do you think Earth has put this Cretan archer unit. See, they've used all their arrows because they're carrying their swords now. Why do you think he's put that unit there? Well, of course, that is to attract enemy pilot fire. He's hoping here that now that he's fired all his arrows, they're just there for pilot, being attacked by enemy pilots, plus that peasant unit of Uther's as well. So that's quite an interesting little pilot shield unit that Earth and Uther's got going there. But I shouldn't think the enemy team will fall for that. Now over here, do you remember we looked at those archers on the end of Monarch's battle formation there? And Scorpion King had a couple of cavalry hidden in the trees, and he's brought them out and have taken those units out. Okay, so that was a nice tactical move there. Once again, like hiding units in the trees. It's good tactics there. Now, as I say, you can see my cavalry. You know where I want to take them. I want to take them through these particular woods and get in behind the enemy troops there. And as I say, put them into wedge formation there where I can then attack when I'm ready. So as I say, there's a general disposition of the two teams as they stand at the moment. Now, as I say, you can see Earth taking his Macedonians over here, and it looks to me like Luke is almost baiting Earth there with his Greek cities, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. You'll see, as I say, what I mean in a minute. Now you can see here that Luke has taken his Spartans over there, like encouraging Earth to attack him. Okay, he may even well turn his Spartans there to offer his flank to the Macedonians there to invite them over. But we'll see there what's going to happen. As I say, you can see that Scorpion King SR here is facing Monarch's Greek cities, and you can see here now that Scorpion King SR is moving his Julii infantry down here, maybe with a view to flank the Greek cities of Monarch there, maybe, or maybe once again try to stretch the enemy army there, if you see what I mean there. You see, the more you stretch them, the thinner they are. Do you see what I mean? And you can see that Monarch now is moving down a little bit there with his Greek cities. He may well move back a little bit now. They were moving back a little bit there in response to Scorpion King's movement of his units there. But as I say, you can see here Luke has now moved basically all his Greek city units over to this flank. Okay, almost saying to Earth, come on then, let's have a little fight over here on the right flank. But I just think that is a tactic that Luke's using there along with Biggest. They want Earth to attack here, and I think I know why that is, and that's because I think they're going to swap positions there. So as I said earlier, Biggest is going to move his infantry there to be able to throw loads of pilers into Earth's advancing Macedonians. But we'll see. We'll just see as the battle unfolds there. But as I say, you got all of Luke's army there. Look. Now he's moving forward a little bit there, look, to expose his flank there to Earth. There you are. Now, could Earth actually not attack the flank of that Greek city's army there? Is that an opportunity that you wouldn't take? And there you go. You can see Earth is now moving forward. Now watch for the switch of Luke and Biggest. There you go, look. So that was a good bit of tactics there by Luke and Biggest there, trying to encourage Earth's pikemen over for the swap. There, see, that's good. And now, as I say, Biggest, I'm sure, has got a lot of pilers left that he'll be throwing loads into poor old Earth's Macedonians there. So that was a nice tactical move there, I thought, by Biggest and Luke. It's a very good move. That's one of the reasons I want to show this battle as well. Some really good moves by both teams in this battle. So as I say, here's poor old Earth attacking with his Macedonians there against Biggest, his Roman troops there with loads of pilers. Right, now I just want to show you this pike unit of Earth. I think you might find this interesting, newer player as well. Can you see he's got 107 men in this pike unit? Alright, now bearing in mind he's got 8 upgrades on. Remember, all his armor's got 8 upgrades on, but we know Macedon morale's not very good. And this is one thing I wanted to show you here. Can you see that massive pilers going into that unit? Reduced it around, and there, let's see, it's routed. Now it had 107 men in, okay, and it had 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, and it routed. And the reason it is routed here is because when units take casualties very quickly, it lowers their morale so much that they rout. And if you notice, they took loads of casualties there, and as we know, Macedon morale's not very good, and so that unit routed there just from the hits from those pilots. And you can see there's another Macedon unit there that's routed as well. Both those Macedon units have just routed from the amount of casualties they took quickly from Biggest pilots there. So as I say, that was a good move there, a good switch there from Luke and Biggest, and has caused a lot of damage, and a couple of units, 2 or 3 units of Earth's Macedonians there to be routed. So as I say, nice move. And you can see, as I say, the Macedonian morale's not very good. They start to suffer casualties quickly, and they will rout, even with good upgrades on what they've got there. Here you can see Uther charging forward. I think, has he charged that peasant unit into a Spartan unit? Yeah, he has. Look how cheeky that is, charging that peasant unit into a Spartan unit there. So the cheapest unit into one of the most expensive units there. So I just thought that was quite funny. Right, here you can see Monarch running his 5 Spartan units here towards Scorpion King's Julii infantry there, so they may well be looking to come around that right flank of ours. But as I say, Earth is persevering with his attack on this left flank here, going into the enemy Scipii infantry there. As I say, I'm pretty sure he bought that army to try and neutralise the Greek cities, but of course Macedon can be used against Rome quite well, and it wouldn't surprise me now if Luke, as you can see, moving reinforcements over. Now here you can see the Cretan archers shooting into us there, got them in close tight formation for more impact and more damage. Okay, so he's targeting our troops there. You can see the arrows coming over. It looks to me like he's targeting our Julii ally at the moment there. But we just have to keep an eye on that, because those archers could make a difference at this stage of the battle with the casualties they cause. Right, okay, so just to show you, I have now got my cavalry in behind the enemy troops. If you look at the right, and you'll see hiding. See hiding? And I've put them into wedge formation as well. Okay, remember wedge formation, more penetration, more impact. And I'm just going to leave them there now, ready to charge into the rear of the enemy troops when the time is right. As I say, with these wooded maps, look, you can plan these ambushes, you can hide troops, and it really adds something to the battles instead of flat, featureless maps that very often we play on. So as I say, I've got my cavalry locked and loaded there, ready to charge in when necessary into the rear of those engaged enemy troops. Okay, maybe even these archers might be a good target, but enemy have still got cavalry in behind their troops there, so I don't want to try that yet. Right, so here you can see us moving forward, and as I say, Luke is now starting to send reinforcements over to that flank where Earth is starting to make some inroads with his Macedonians there. As I say, you can see here the general disposition of us starting to attack their position there. You can see Monarch's mini army there moving up round our right flank. This was a nice hit there by our allies, Julii cavalry, into that Scipio unit. Right, okay, so you can see here how Monarch's moved his Greek citizens army around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my battle formation around there where I can maybe combat both there if Luke and a Monarch attack both together there. I've moved my battle formation around where I've got the best chance of trying to neutralise the attack from both teams there, if you noticed. But meanwhile over here on our left flank there, you can see, as I say, Earth making some inroads into the Roman infantry, and as I say, Luke bringing Greek city units over to support him there. You can see Luke's got a lot of units there he's brought in to support on the left flank. Here you can see Uther moving his infantry forward there. And you can see some Julii cavalry, some of our Julii cavalry looking to go round the flank. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. So over here, you'll see, as say, my cavalry and wedge formation here, and as I like to smash into the back of these engaged troops. That's where I would like to hit. But as you can see there, they've got a lot of cavalry still there. See, Biggest has still got his 8 upgraded cavalry. Remember, he's got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So I can't bring my cavalry out of hiding yet until he's moved. Now, if you notice here, can you see that Luke's archers are no longer shooting? He's stopped their idle. Can you see their idle? Now, that really surprised me during the course of the battle, because these Cretan archers are elite archers. They do a lot of damage to enemy troops. And what I was thinking was, I'm easily within range. He could really do some damage to my Carthaginian units there. Plus, we know that the Macedonian units are extremely susceptible to missile damage. So he could be doing loads of damage with his archers at the moment. But he's just got them idle. I presume there's a tactical reason for that. But you can see that they're carrying their bows still. So they've still got loads of arrows left. And as I say, they could be targeting my Carthaginians or our Macedonian ally there. But at the moment, they're just just idle. Right, you can see here I'm moving my Carthaginians. Of course, like I said to you, I don't want to get bogged down fighting enemy Roman infantry. This Carthaginian army is just to take on the Greek cities. As I say, I don't want to get involved fighting. You get slowly bogged down with Roman infantry with Carthage. So I don't really want to do that if I can help it. Sometimes you have to do these things, don't you, during the course of the battle. So can you see how both teams now are getting condensed? Can you see we did have a wide battle formation, didn't we, both of us, but we're rather condensed now as both teams are kind of moving in on each other, like, if you see what I mean. Nice move here by Earth, taking his Macedonians round the flank of those enemy troops there. Okay, I think it's almost time now for me to move my Carthaginians in. I'm going to have to take on some of those Roman troops, I think. It's time for me to, move in, I think, pretty soon. As I say, Luke's got a lot of his, Monarch's got a lot of his Greek city units over there on that left flank of ours, supporting their ally. So there's a lot going on over on that left flank there. You can see a lot of our Julii allies moving their Roman troops in to attack as well. So as I say, I think it's almost time for my Carthaginians now to move in. Let's just pause the game for a second here. So as I say here, Luke's archers still not firing into us, so that's a good thing for us. I presume he's got a tactical reason for not doing that, but I'm pleased about that from our team's point of view. And as I say, over there you can see Earth's units would be very susceptible to archer damage, and so were my Carthaginians. So with him not using those archers, that's as I say, it's a good thing from our point of view. As you can see here, we're gradually putting more pressure on that left flank, but that's why Luke and Monarch's taken a lot of their Spartans over there to try and kind of shore up that flank there. And you can see we're taking some more of our Julii troops over there. But I think, pretty soon it's going to be time for me to move my Carthaginians in there to put pressure on the enemy troops there. Can you see how I've moved forward there? But as I say, I am always reluctant to fight Roman troops there with Carthage, because, as I say, it's such slow moving. It is, say, you kind of get bogged down with it, really. But over here's a nice move here, look, by Uther, moving his infantry round the flank, stretching the enemy defence line even more. Look, Luke's got to bring some more Spartans over there, look. So all the time we're stretching their defence. And when I'm ready, I'm just going to charge straight in there. I can see now, if you notice, I've moved over a little bit more to the left. I think this is more of an advantage here, and I'm going to run forward. There, can you see? And just before I make contact with the Spartans, I'm going to put my spears down and then move in slowly. So I'm now putting more pressure on the centre, if you like, of the battle line there. You see, I'm moving in slowly but steadily on those troops. Now I want to show you a good move here by Scorpion King SR. Now of course the Scipii troops infantry would like to get behind Mila or attack my flank, plus those cavalry units would like to come round as well, okay, and attack the flank and rear of my troops. But Scorpion King spotted that and has got 3 of his infantry ready to cover my flank there. So that's a nice bit of battlefield awareness there by Scorpion King SR. And as I say here, you can see we're making a lot of inroads. But remember, Luke's Greek cities army was pretty well intact, and that could maybe prove pivotal. And there's, can you see there, Biggus' general is right in the firing line. Can you see I've got Carthaginian units, and our Macedonian ally is now attacking that general unit. So Biggus' general is in quite a lot of danger there. And of course, if we can take him out, then of course we take away the morale bonus that he's given to his troops. So that's why we're moving in on him there. So newer players to Rome Total War, try not to put your general in a position that he's going to get taken out, because obviously if he gets taken out, you've lost that general morale bonus. Right, can you see that Scipii cavalry coming around there, ready to charge in to my engaged units? Once again, Scorpion King spotted that and moved an infantry unit forward to block any attack by that cavalry. As I say, really nice move there. Great teamwork there by Scorpion King. As I say, here we're moving in on the enemy troops. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it in the battle before, but Scorpion King's been an honorary member of the Brotherhood for about 14 or 15 years now, so it's always nice to see him in our battles. Right, can you see Uther now moving? Looks like he's going to switch round to the right flank. Now, if you look at the right flank of the enemy team, does that look weak to you? Just a couple of cavalry units. I see there's a couple of Spartan units being moved over to the left. Now, I think Uther spotted this as a weakness, and I think that he's going to move his infantry and cavalry round there, because if you notice, the enemy are so stretched now that there's no defence on that flank. Now, as I say, I've got my Sacred Band cavalry ready to smash into the back of those enemy troops, but the enemy cavalry are still there, so I don't really want to get involved with them. At the moment they move out of the way, I'm going to charge in there and smash in, hopefully, into the back of those enemy Spartans. Okay, so remember, my cavalry is hiding in the woods there, and I'd love to smash into the back of either the enemy Scipii or enemy Greek city units there. So as I say there, you can see him moving in. Now, as I say, Uther coming round this flank because he spotted it as a weakness. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Scorpion King brought those couple of units round that flank as well. You'll see that my Carthaginians are gradually making inroads into the enemy troops, very slowly, but they gradually are putting more pressure on the enemy troops. They may well have to bring more reinforcements over there to try and neutralise my Carthaginians as I'm moving into the enemy troops there. Okay, but as I say, over here on this flank, this is great battlefield awareness by Uther and Scorpion King there. As they come round there, they could see this flank was really weak. Even if that cavalry charges into them there, there's not really much infantry support there. And there goes that cavalry, look, and bang! As Biggest charges that 8 upgraded cavalry. Remember, those cavalry of Biggest have got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So he's charged them in there. But he's up against infantry, he's up against Uther's infantry and Scorpion King's infantry as well. Plus, they've got cavalry units. Also, I'd like to draw your attention to the back of the enemy team. You will see here that both Earth and Scorpion King SR have got their cavalry units there taking Luke's archers out. There, can you see them charging in there, taking Luke's archers out there? So that's a distraction. Now, if they smash in to the back of Biggis's cavalry while it's engaged there, they could take out all of Biggis's cavalry. That's one thing they may well do there. We'll just have to see. But you can see at the moment they're just taking out Luke's archers at the moment between them. But they may well smash in there. It looks like they're coming in. So Biggis may well have to turn his cavalry to face the threat of this cavalry coming in behind him. There you are, he has. Now, if our Julii ally runs their infantry forward, there could be a sandwich attack of Biggis's cavalry there. Right, there you are. Can you see the Julii infantry and cavalry moving forward there? And they have now sandwiched Biggis's cavalry and routed them. That was a really nice combination attack there. I'd just like to show you a nice move here by Biggis. If you notice, he's got a couple of cavalry units in behind us that he's smashing into the rear of us. Took him round the flank and is smashing into the rear of our engaged troops there. So that's a nice move there by Biggis. I thought a nice tactical move. Now, my cavalry have just come out the woods there, and I'm looking, I think, if I remember right, to smash into the back of Spartan units there with my full cavalry, getting the full charge bonus. Okay, I've only got gold attack, but I think at this stage of the battle, my cavalry hitting could maybe even cause a mass rout there, because I'm putting more pressure on. Make no mistake, I'm really pushing forward now with my Carthaginians there against those Greek city units. Can you see my Sacred Band cavalry coming in? Get ready for this. They're going to smash into the back of those Spartans there, and bang, as we smash in there. Okay, at this stage of the battle, Luke has just admitted defeat. Okay, Luke just admitted defeat there, and you can see this Scipii cavalry of Biggis. He's still charging into the rear of us there, still trying to cause casualties there. But as you can see, our team has has managed to go on to win the battle. Just like to say at this stage of the battle, 2 of the enemy team complained. There you are, you can see the 2 general units have been taken out. Just to say that 2 of the enemy team complained that they lost the battle because of the map. Okay, they were a bit angry about the map. And what I would say is, it's not the map that causes defeat. It's the, no disrespect here, but it's the tactics that you use on that map. It's not the map's fault that they lost the battle, is it? But they complained that it was the map that caused them to lose the battle. So anyway, 2 of them said that. So I'll leave it up to you guys to see what you think about that. But I just think you just have to adapt your tactics to the map, really, don't you? Just my opinion there. But just thought I'd let you know that 2 of them did complain that they said they lost the battle because of the map. So I just think to myself that I've been in Team 2 where they were on loads of occasions in the past and had great victories on this map. It's just, as I say, adapting your tactics to the map. Okay, so it's quite a spread out battlefield here. Over on the right flank here, do you remember, this is where Uther and myself took out the enemy SBQR army of God. There, if you remember, we took them out there, and I think we weakened Monarch's Greek city's army here with my Carthaginians, and a nice cavalry hit by Uther into the back of the engaged Spartans there. So that was good there, a good bit of teamwork there on this right flank. Over here, this is where Scorpion King lost a lot of his infantry through trying to chase down those Spartan units. Got a little bit excited, I think, there. But he managed to save 5 of his infantry units. As we move up here, the battlefield here, you can see there's some more fighting here. We move along here and into this area here. This is where I think maybe the most concentrated part of the battle was. And there you can see there. So very, very intense there, I think this battle was. So yeah, so as I say, our team managed to go on to win the battle. First thing I'd like to say is really, really well played to everybody in the game. I thought everybody played well, guys. It was a great battle. As you can see, it was a clear victory, just 1 down from a heroic. So pleased that the team played so well that we managed to get a clear victory. Highest kills in the game goes to RTW player Luke, 1,574. So he did well with his Greek cities there. I thought played extremely well. There are some good tactics being shown by both teams, so well done to him. So I'd like to say well done to God. Now, bearing in mind his SBQR army was smashed and crashed on that right flank, to get 1,160 kills, I thought was really good. So well done to him. And well done to Monarch. I noticed he was supporting all over the battlefield with his Greek cities. He played well as well. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there. As I say, well done to Luke, highest kills in the game. And well done to Biggest. He was supporting all over the battlefield. Possibly didn't get the kills that he wanted to, but he played really well. So really well played, guys. Great game. My kills for that old Carthage army, one thing, yeah, that's okay. Still a lot of troops left as well. So, yeah, not too bad kills. They're quite pleased with that, really. Well done to Scorpion King. Now, bearing in mind his infantry got, a lot of his infantry got taken out when he ran forward to get that many kills. I thought he did well, and he was supporting all over the battlefield. Well done to Earth, highest kills in our team with his Macedonians. As I say, he handles Macedon extremely well, so well done to him. And well done to Uther, great kills as well. And if you notice, can you see that Uther and myself got the same kills? How unusual is that in a 4v4? We both got 1,373 kills. Very, very unusual to see that. So I thought that was another reason to show the battle. So our team was quite diverse. Look, we had Carthage, Rome, Macedon and Rome. So I say quite a diverse team. And they had Rome, Greek cities and Rome. Do you think that either team had a faction advantage in this battle? Please, if you did, please leave your thoughts in the comments, because it'd be interesting to see what you thought. As I say, it's an interesting map, this Nordic Woodland map, but you must adapt your tactics to it. It's no good playing flat, featureless map tactics on this map, because you just won't win. If you enjoyed the battle, please give us a thumbs up, or please leave us a comment. It's always nice to read what you think about our battles. And bye for now on our 700th.